The snow-covered mountains of the Sierra Nevada were clearly visible from the high, castellated red walls of the citadel, as the slight figure of Boabdil, the last king of Granada, slipped out of its gates for the final time. Mounted on his mule, and accompanied by 50 of his most trusted soldiers, he slowly made his way down the steep, icy paths, formally to surrender the keys of the city. Its conquerors, Ferdinand, King of Aragon, and his wife Isabella, Queen of Castile, were waiting with their children by the banks of the Xenil River in the fertile valley below. The date was January 2nd, 1492. To Boabdil, the day marked the loss of a kingdom and the beginnings of humiliation and exile. To Ferdinand and Isabella, on the other hand, it marked a triumph of faith. Faith in the destiny of their country, in their dynasty, and, above all, faith in the Holy Catholic Church and the God who was the core of their existence. For Boabdil was a Moor. The Moors were Muslims who had first invaded the Spanish peninsula from North Africa back in the 8th century, and who had quickly dominated much of it. Christian Spanish kings had fought against them over the centuries, gradually winning city after city and mile after mile of hotly disputed territory. The Moors had slowly been pushed back, so that by the time of Isabella's birth in 1451, they were concentrated only in the south of Spain. But they had never been completely defeated until that cold January day when Boabdil was forced to give up their last stronghold, the city of Granada itself. The formalities of surrender had been agreed in advance. Resolutely refusing to face further humiliation despite his defeat, Boabdil had already declared that he would not kneel to the victorious monarchs. Isabella was equally determined that he should show due respect to herself and her husband, for this was the day of which she had dreamed since her wars against the Moors had begun 10 years earlier. Too much Christian blood had been spilled, and she was very conscious of the malnourished and overworked Christian prisoners languishing in chains in the circular, well-like subterranean dungeons of the Alcazaba, the main fortress contained within the walls of the Alhambra, Boabdil's palace and administrative complex. The captives would soon be freed, but their plight and the sacrifices of the Christian armies could not go unrecognized. Boabdil would be treated fairly, but he could not expect to get away scot-free. Nor would he. As arranged, Boabdil turned his mule toward Ferdinand and ostentatiously pretended to dismount and remove his hat. Ferdinand, equally ostentatiously, courteously indicated that he should remain in the saddle. Before handing over the keys of the city to Ferdinand, Boabdil rode toward Isabella, who, glitteringly dressed and sitting upon a great white horse, also received him graciously. Knowing his wife as he did, Ferdinand immediately passed the keys on to her. Inigo Lopez de Mendoza, Count of Tendilla, the new governor of the city, and Hernando de Talavera, the gentle ascetic cleric who had served as the Queen's confessor and whom she had appointed its archbishop, then rode up the hill and away from the rejoicing crowds toward the Alhambra itself. The city, complete with its citadel, was now part of Spain. Moorish control was over, and Ferdinand and Isabella's crusade against the Moors concluded, if only for the moment.